Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Filming Night podcast. My name is Xavier Tony, and I just watched Season 1, Episode 5 of Arrow, Damaged. Another fantastic episode, in my opinion. We've got some crazy stuff going on. So, basically, the episode starts out with Oliver back on the island, and he's being taught how to shoot an arrow. So, I guess we're getting a little bit more of a backstory as to how Oliver actually gained all these skills. But then, we obviously cut right back to the present day, where Oliver's taken to the police station, and he's being interrogated by Lance. So basically his mom and Walter come in and they're like, set him free. He didn't do any of this. He wants a lawyer. Oliver basically said, I will only do this case with a lawyer if it's Laurel, if Laurel's the one defending me. And his parents obviously don't want to do this, but Oliver's mom goes in and talks to Laurel and says, I want you to defend my son, but she says, I can't do that. But she ends up, being the one to defend him after Oliver said he was going to defend himself. But Laurel ends up showing up and taking one for the team and, trying to protect Oliver because she believes that he's innocent. Well, I don't know if she necessarily believes that, but she believes something in him is worth fighting for. And it's revealed later that they do this. A really good scene that I really enjoyed was when he's talking with Detective Lance and this other lawyer in this room, and he's like, I'll do a polygraph in front of you because it's only you that I need to convince otherwise, because you are the one with the vendetta against me and my family. So it's only you that I need to convince otherwise that I am not this vigilante who you think I am. So he does the polygraph tests, and we don't get to see the results until the end, but it seems like he's giving all the right answers. But at the very end, he gives the results saying, when Detective Lance asks him, have you ever killed anyone? And Oliver says, yes. When I asked your daughter to come on the boat with me and my father, I killed her. So I guess that sort of gave him a little bit of closure. Like, Oliver didn't technically kill her, but maybe he's giving the detective what he wants to hear. Maybe he's, accepted it within himself that it was a tragic situation. If she never went on that boat with him, she would still be alive today. So then basically what happens is Oliver has to get this ankle bracelet on so he can't leave his house, but he decides to throw a big massive party, some prison themed party. But basically what his plan was to get his bodyguard to act as the arrow while he was at the party, so that there could be witnesses saying the arrow was fighting crime somewhere else where Oliver was at home at the party. And of course the bodyguard doesn't want to do this. He's absolutely furious that Oliver tried to play him like this, but at the end of the day he takes one for the team, and he still does it because he knows that he doesn't want Oliver to go to jail, and he knows what Oliver's doing is for a good cause because he wanted to team up with him in the last episode anyway. But basically, another thing that happens in this episode is Walter getting to know the true meaning behind how far his wife is going to hide this Queen's Gambit thing from him, and it leads to, he talks to this guy named Josiah, and he's like, I need you to investigate this further for me. But by the end of the episode, he's mysteriously killed in a car crash. So clearly Walter knows what's going on. And by the end of the episode, he says he claims to go on a business trip to deal with business in Australia, but it's obviously a ploy to just get out of the house because he doesn't trust his wife anymore, obviously. We're also getting some more flashbacks of Oliver being tortured by these military guys back in the island, and there's this one dude who's got a half yellow, half black face, and basically he's getting tortured by these guys, and the Asian man on the island with Oliver with the bow and arrow, who is basically training him, teaching him how to survive, seems to have been a soldier of some kind, because the other man, shows him, he's like, have you seen this man before? And he's wearing a soldier uniform. Oliver obviously doesn't give him up because, Oliver's a real G in this episode, and, the guy thanks him afterwards. He's like, you wanted to survive, but you still didn't give me up, so I'm gonna keep you safe. And he basically locks him in the cave, basically. And then basically we get the whole party scene. We get the bodyguard going out to fight crime, to place himself as the Green Arrow during that time, so Oliver's name can be cleared, and it all works out. So basically during the party, Laurel and Oliver have a discussion, and Laurel feels a little bit guilty because she's like, my family's been through so much after you've been gone, so has your family, but I never really thought how I never really thought about what you truly went through, and she feels really bad and that she never even thought about it before, and asks Oliver to see the scars and everything. And it's a good scene because it shows Laurel is sort of changing her perspective on Oliver, so we think, until the end of the episode, when it turns out that on the polygraph test Oliver lied on one of the questions about never having been to that place before where he was caught on the security camera. And Oliver sort of is doing a really good job at trying to convince everyone around him that he isn't the Green Arrow. He's like, I can't eat, I haven't slept, I can't even pick up a bow and arrow at this point. I'm so damaged as a person because of what happened to me on that island. And he's doing a very convincing job of convincing everyone around him of his normal seems to be life. But at the end of the day, he is the Green Arrow. No matter what he says doesn't change the fact that what he's doing is doing. It depends on how the audience wants to view it, whether or not it's a moral or good or a bad thing. I personally don't see the wrong in what he's doing, but for some reason the detective and Laurel have such an issue with that. But I honestly don't understand why. Oliver's mom goes in because during the party Oliver gets attacked by one of the head guys. I don't know, I still don't know his name, but he gets attacked by one of the head guys, his henchmen, but Detective Lance comes in and saves him. And that's at the moment when he realizes, yes, the Green Arrow was spotted today during the party, so you're free to go, your charges are all dropped. And we get sort of an interesting moment between the detective and Oliver where they look at each other and they sort of just acknowledge, like, Lance has realized, yeah, it's over, like, it's not Oliver. And then you see him at the bar later, obviously getting drunk, probably washing away his sorrows. But you see the mom going in to talk to that man who she believes sent him to kill her son because he thinks that he's going after the people on the list, which he is, but his mom doesn't know that. Maybe she does, but she doesn't want to believe it. But at the end of the day, that's what's going on with her. And, then Oliver and the bodyguard go to the hideout. Basically, the bodyguard gives this whole speech about, like, you don't understand what your actions are doing, how they're affecting others. You don't think about how your actions affect others. But, like, did you ever consider how what you plan to do would affect your friends and family? And Oliver basically says, it hurts me more than it could hurt anyone else not being able to tell my family the truth. And then we get the final action scene of the Green Arrow coming down for the guy that was organizing the arms deal. And yeah, so another interesting episode, basically, playing more on the dynamics of Laurel and Oliver's relationship, because they're starting to build trust, but trust is also still not 100% there between them. But we get a semi-resolution between Lance and Oliver, because it seemed like they shared a special moment there when he saved him. He dropped all the charges, and then they just sort of looked at each other and in acknowledgement, like, this is over now. It's not me. Let's move on from this. I don't know how Walter's gonna continue going on, or what Oliver's mom is gonna continue to do. If she's gonna be able to stop these people from coming after her son, and eventually she's gonna have to find out if one of those men get to her son first. But again, I think it was another fantastic episode. Some more interesting, a lot of more relationship things going on, and seeing more to Oliver's character, seeing how he was brutally tortured in that island. And it's going to be interesting to see how those soldier guys on the island play out in the future episodes. And that sort of leader guy was kind of interesting to me. I wonder how he plays into Oliver becoming the Arrow. So again, another great episode of the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys in the next review.